We're the Seabees of the Navy. We can build and we can fight. We'll pave our way to victory and guard it day and night. And we promise that we'll remember the 7th of December. We're the Seabees of the Navy, the bees of the 7 seas. Hello everybody. If you couldn't tell by that goofy song, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the United States Navy Seabees. What I really want to cover with the Seabees is, first of all, what is a Seabee? How did it come to be? And what they are today. So what a Seabee is construction workers in the Navy. There's 7 different rates. You have equipment operators, construction mechanics, electricians, utilities or plumbers, builders, steel workers, and engineering aides. They all come together to work as an infrastructure force for our troops overseas and here at home. On December 7th of 1941, we got attacked by the Japanese in Pearl Harbor, kamikazes. So during that point in time, Admiral Ben Morrell, who was the chief of the U.S. Navy's Bureau of Yards and Docks, had realized the significant need that our military had for some sort of construction force, not only here at home but also abroad. At that point in time, we did have construction forces in the military that worked here, but the need was very apparent that okay, we're sending all these people overseas and we need somebody that can put up a quick building or maybe push some berms up with a bulldozer or something. So that's what the original thought was to starting the Seabees, and it became concrete. They made the first construction battalions, hence the name Seabee, and got a logo and the name and everything on March 5th of 1942. Back then, during World War II, the way that the Seabees was trained was a lot different than it is today. After World War I and the Great Depression and everything, they were doing whatever they could to keep people working. So there were a lot of people that were employed doing the Hoover Dam in Colorado. Well, fast forward a little bit, and that actually would prove to help what is known today as the Seabees, because all these construction workers who were proficient in concrete and equipment operating and whatnot were already trained in their craft. They just needed to go through a fast boot camp and learn how to handle a weapon so they could be shipped overseas into the war. So the origin of the Seabees is a lot different than it is today. Today, from my personal experience, I got out of high school. In high school, I worked on a farm a little bit, so I might have rode a tractor and threw a lot of hay bales and whatnot. But primarily my job was a burger flipper at A&W Family Restaurant. So I had absolutely no construction experience when I joined the Seabees. But that doesn't matter, because now it's a lot different. The trained forces were already in their battalions and whatnot. Those of us that were just getting in would go through extensive training, and there was no hurry to get us through it, as long as we graduated by the end of our term. But like I said, there was no hurry, so we'd get done and then we'd go to our battalion and we were trained up, and by the time we were getting ready to get out of our enlistment, another group was already coming in getting trained up. So we didn't have to be proficient in construction like they did back then. There wasn't a immediate need for construction workers. So that's a lot different than it used to be. My personal experience as a Seabee, when I was in, I didn't go to any war zones, but I did get to go to some cool places and do some cool things. My first deployment, I went to 2 different countries. I went to Spain and I went to Senegal, Africa. In Spain, we paved roads, so I got to learn a lot about using a compactor and a paver, and I I got to experience for my first time what it was like to be standing next to hot asphalt in 100-degree weather. So that wasn't very pleasant. From there, we went on a small detachment to, like I said, Senegal, Africa. That was pretty cool. I got to learn a lot about what the Marines do as far as setting up a base. And we did joint operations with them, and we taught them a little bit about how to push dirt with a dozer and a grader. And we built together, as a joint operation, we built a live fire range for the Senegalese army so they could do some training themselves. And then my second deployment, while I was in my last deployment, was to Cambodia, where we drilled some water wells, which was really cool work, because the water well was a joint ops with the Cambodians as well, and it was actually for one of their military bases. And other than that, we did some bathroom facilities, so I got to learn a lot about the builder aspect of things. I got to place a concrete pad and build block buildings and everything. So the amount of training I got in such a short period of time, 4 years, is a lifetime of skills that'll be with me forever. And I'm really thankful for the Seabees for teaching me that stuff and adding these skills to my resume. I also got to do a lot of combat training, which is maybe not so much for a civilian world resume, but it was really cool things that otherwise I couldn't say that I've got to do. So that's a little bit about my personal experience and the start of the United States Navy Seabees. If you guys had any more questions about Seabees, you can certainly find one of us. Good luck getting us to shut up, though. Or you could go watch the movie The Fighting Seabees, featuring John Wayne, who also portrayed a Seabee, which I thought it was a really old but really good movie. So, hoorah, Seabees.